First this morning, we want to get to this, though. Did the White House just give away the store to China and get nothing in return? A new climate change agreement has the U.S. setting stringent new goals to slash coal emissions here at home, while China gave up very little in return in this deal. Welcome, everybody. Brand new hour now of America's Newsroom. Glad to have you with us. I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Top Republicans already pushing back, warning the cost will be fewer American jobs and a stagnant economy. But President Obama calls the deal a major success.
This is a major milestone in the U.S.-China relationship, and it shows what's possible when we work together on an urgent global challenge.
Incoming Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blasted that agreement, saying, quote, "This unrealistic plan that the president would dump on his successor would ensure higher utility rates and far fewer jobs." That's Mitch McConnell's take. Let's get Stuart Varney's take. Fox Business Network's host of Varney and Company. Stuart, good morning to you.
Morning, Martha.
All right, so when you look at the details of this climate, there were a number of agreements that were struck, but looking at this climate change deal, the U.S. is going to cut its emissions 26 to 28% by 2025, and the Chinese say at we're going to keep going up and up and up with our emissions until 2030, but we're going to peak there, and then who knows what happens next.
Martha, you've got to shake your head at this one. This is not a lopsided deal. This is a total cave on the part of President Obama to his Chinese counterpart. Let's go through this for a second. We are going to accelerate the cutting of our emissions. We've got even bolder targets to cut and start cutting now. China doesn't have to do anything. In fact, they can keep on polluting at this current level, even increase their emissions for another 15 years. All they've agreed to do is peak their emissions in the year 2030. We cut, they don't. And then when you come to the money, we're going to pay for this. Our utility bills are going to go up, and it's going to cost us jobs. It doesn't cost the Chinese anything. They pay nothing extra for this so-called agreement. It is totally lopsided. Now, the left says that America is setting an example, and other nations will therefore feel pressured to come up with better emissions standards. But won't the Chinese also set an example of how to do absolutely nothing and get away with it? It's a totally it's not even lopsided. Yeah. It's a total cave. It's a terrible thing.
I mean, I remember a while back the Kyoto Agreement, and President Bush didn't want that deal because the Chinese were not going to go for the deal either. So now we have this situation again where President Obama is sort of putting us out in the forefront of cutting these emissions, and yet, you know, one of the world's largest global polluters is not in the deal at all. And I know that the coal companies at home are none too happy with this either, I would imagine.
And the president has gone over our heads to do this. He's going to make new rules and regulations through the EPA, not through Congress, not through the elected representative of the people. He's going through the EPA to implement this acceleration in emissions cuts. In other words, over our heads, not consulting the will of the people, so you can get this totally lopsided cave-in deal.